you got to cut it up first. So, I'm Chef Don McMillan. You've got so much to share and enjoy. Let's get started. Well, today I'm going to teach you the very basics. How to cut a whole chicken. We're going to show you how to take the whole chicken and turn it into just so many different pieces that you don't have to run to the store and buy anymore. We're going to show you how to buy a whole chicken and save lots of money and also have lots of fun, because you know all our videos are fun. I've got some really helpful tips that I want to share with you. I want to give you some inside information on how those fast food restaurants make so much money off of you by selling you those buckets of chicken. So you're going to want to stick around to the end of this video to get all those helpful tips. Now, if you got any comments, I need to know that. Tell me what you've experienced. Tell me some of the thoughts that you have on cutting up a chicken. I'd like you to share with me, because I'd like to go ahead and respond and answer that as well. Don't forget, you have to subscribe because we have so many videos. Chicken, so basic. I just completed a video you have to watch on how to bake a chicken in a clay oven. If you'll look over here behind me on the stove, you'll see another clay oven. It's called a tagine. It's from Morocco, Northern Africa. We're gonna show you how to hook up some really good chicken, but we gotta cut it up first. So, I'm Chef Don McMillan. You've got so much to share and enjoy. Let's get started. So, here's our whole chicken. What we did is we took it out of the cryovac container. Now, I wanna caution you, when you do this, you wanna do it in the sink. You don't want anything else in the sink, because you don't want any of the water to splash and fall on something else that's not going to get washed. Two things you have to know if you have salmonella: either washing will kill it, or cooking. So important. So when I rinse off my chicken after I get it home from the supermarket, I definitely clear out the sink, wash the sink a little bit, and then after I rinse it off, I wash the sink again. Can't be too careful. All right, now I've got it on my cutting board. I want to show you what's inside the chicken, because lots of time you get chicken with what they call giblets. Parts. We know parts are parts, right? These birds come down the line. When they come down the line, they're cleaned. You know, the feathers come off. They take out the inside, and it goes in a trough, and it ends up at the end. And what they do, I'm telling you this, they just take a handful of those giblets, put it in a little bag, and stick it inside the chicken. Let's see what we got today, all right? So first of all, I've got a liver. That looks healthy. Next of all, we've got a neck. It's definitely got to have a neck, because I think they wrung its neck. Next thing we've got, we got another liver. All right, hey, that's cool. And we got a heart. And we got a gizzard. All good parts, and they taste really good. Wait a minute, I'm fishing out another liver. How did this chicken live with 3 livers? Maybe that's why it died. I don't know. Okay, well, let's get rid of some of this stuff. We're going to put it off a little scrap bowl over here. I'll let you know the truth. I'm going to save it, because I'm frying those up later for my dinner. But that's just between you and I, okay? Now, here's our chicken. You see this? We are now going to cut this chicken into different parts. Here's something you have to remember. If you can see a V, you can cut a chicken. Remember that. If you can see the V, you can cut a chicken, because that is where the knife blade is going to go. Here's our V's. Can I show you where they are? Keep an eye on them. I've got a V here and a V here. Can you see it? So I place my knife right in there, and I cut that V. I'm cutting right down to the joint where the thigh meets the breast part. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. You see that? Just cut right down there where that V is. Okay, so now I've got it cut there. The next thing I want to do is, here is another V, if you can see it, right in through here. And I'm just going to cut down, because there's a little connecting tissue. And you can actually see now where the dark meat, which is here in that backbone, and then the white meat, which is in this part of the bone, is now actually separating. So watch what happens when I just separate it like that. See how it turns? Turn it upside down here. And guess what? Do you see another V? because if you do, that's where the knife is going to go, right there in that V. I now have separated the dark meat from the white meat. Now let's go ahead and cut it into different pieces. Okay, so with the dark meat, we'll place it right here. This is the backbone, and on the backbone there's a joint, and it's really easy to pop the joint. You just hold one hand here and one here and just pop. Do you hear that? It just popped. When that pops, look, I fold it over, and guess what? Do you see another V? That's where the knife goes, right there in that V. And there is the thigh and the leg. We're not finished yet. Let's do the other one. The same process. You pop it, and then where that V is, the knife goes in there. And please let the knife do the cutting. Don't force it. Don't try to cut through bone, because you're just going to knock yourself out. We just want to cut the leg and the thighs in pieces. Now, in here, this is our backbone. You see the tail? Julia Child told me that the best part of the chicken is what we call the chef's portion. The chef's portion is this little scallop right in here. And we call it the chef's portion because when the chefs are in the back of the kitchen and they're cutting up chicken, they'll never serve you the back, but they will keep this little oyster right in here for themselves. It is the most flavorful part of the chicken. I'm going to cut the other one out. So it's right next to where the tail is, and you just cut right where the bone is and just cut out that oyster, because that is your part. You went through all that hard work. You're the chef. Let's get that part out, because we're going to enjoy that later. Okay? But a good chef will never, serve something that a customer couldn't eat on their plate. But they certainly would enjoy the best cut. So there's a little tip. VIA Julia Child, and James Beard said that as well. That the best part of the chicken is the oyster, and you can check that out too. All right. So I'm going to put the back part, because that's going to go in my stock pot. Okay? So let's put this over here, and let's get back to the dark meat. Now, I want to separate the leg from the thigh. So turn it over, and if you look here, do you see a line right there? That line, that little piece of fat that's in there, that's saying put your knife there. By the way, do you see a V right here? Okay, that V goes right where that line is. And what we're going to do is, and you can even put your finger there if you wanted to feel the joint, is just cut down through there. And now we have the thigh and the leg. I'm going to show you another little trick. I told you got to stick around, right? I said stick around because we got lots of helpful tips. Here's something you won't see on all those other cooking videos. I'm going to show you how to take the bone out of the leg so that you can stuff it maybe with a stuffing for your holiday, or maybe some dried fruits. Check this out. There's tendons in there. So we're just going to use our knife and cut around the tendons. Be sure you get them all. So I'm going all the way around. So what I'm going to do is put my knife on the board, using my fingers, just be sure that there's nothing but bone there. Okay? Now, taking this part where the thigh is, kind of like holding a gun. You hold your hand right there, and then you take your other hand and you push it backwards towards you, right? And you'll hear another little pop. And look at that. Out comes the bone. This is the part, we like to chew around, but now we took the bone out of the leg. Now, if you want to, you can go back to that little part I showed you earlier, where the joint is, and also that line, and just place your knife right there on the line and cut down. And now you have a boneless part of the leg of chicken. I like to stuff it with goodies, like during the holiday season. I do put my chicken stuffing in there, and you can just roast it. You can even wrap it with bacon, but that's a whole nother video, which means you've got to sign on for the rest of our videos, right? There it is. So now I have my thigh. We'll place that. Now we're going to deal with the white part. Again, V's, so important. Here's our chicken wing. So what I do is I take the breast side, turn it over, and I look at my V right there. Can you see that V? Put your knife, and remember, I can say it so many times, let the knife do the cutting. Don't saw back and forth. Just cut back, and you see that, look, the wing just kind of falls away from the breast. Just falls away. So cut around like that. There's one wing, and we'll turn this and we'll do the other wing. Okay, there's our V right there. Put your knife in the V, and just slowly, just bring your knife like that. It reveals itself. Okay, cut down, and there's the other wing. Now we have the chicken breast. Told you I was going to give you some hints earlier. How does KFC cut their chicken? Everyone wants to know that the typical way to cut a chicken is with 8 pieces. But hey, KFC has 9 pieces on their chicken. When they fill that bucket, it's not 8 pieces, it's 9 pieces, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and typically we would have one breast and one breast, so it'd be 7 and 8. What they do, there is a little joint, you can feel it right here. They take that and they cut right there at that joint, and they have now 1, 2, 3 pieces of white meat. So when you order white meat at KFC, you are not just getting half of the breast or the other half of the breast, you're actually getting a third. 1/3, 1/3, 1/3, all right? It's all about the money, okay? It still tastes good, so nobody's gonna fault that. But I'm gonna show you, typically we do an 8-piece chicken. So with our 8-piece chicken, what I'm going to do now is I'm gonna remove this part of the backbone, okay? So we see that's where the neck comes out. Place that there, secure it with your hand, so please don't put it in the way of the knife. But there's a little crease here and a little crease there where the rib bones meet there. It's very tender, and the knife literally just cuts right through it. You'll hear a little cracking, but that's okay. Can you see that, what I did? It just went right there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And that part, the neck, which is connected to the back, comes right out. That goes into the stock pot as well. Now, this is what it looks like on the inside. There's a soft piece right here, and that tells us where we can anchor our knife. So I'm placing my knife, and it just goes in. It's really soft, and then it stops. And what happens then, now we are on the backbone, the back part of the chicken. What I like to do is put my knife so that the knife point is still touching the board, and this is the dull part. I'm going to give it a little bit of a push. You're going to hear a little bit of a crack, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually divide the chicken breast into 2. You ready? 1, 2, 3. And now we have this piece. So now here's our 8 pieces of chicken. Let's count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, that being said, there are other fast food restaurants that actually take the chicken breasts and they don't get 3 pieces out of the chicken breast. They actually get 4. How do they do it? They take their knife and they cut each chicken breast in half. So you could go to some of those fast food restaurants and thinking you're going to get a whole breast of chicken, and you're actually going to get 1/4. Okay, that being said, let's show you how to take the bones out of the backbone of the chicken, okay? So, for that, what you want to do is you're going to put your knife and you're going to scrape. You're going to hear a little bit of a sound where the point of your knife is going against the bone. If you don't feel it, if you don't hear it, then you're cutting into the white part of the meat, which we don't want you to do. All we want to do is cut out the backbone. Scrape. Okay, and then here's part where the wishbone is, so we're going to cut the wishbone out. And then here's the rib cage. That goes into the stock pot. And then here's our boneless breast of chicken. Now, in the boneless breast of chicken, each side has a tenderloin. You see the little thing here? And you just pull it out with your fingers, look. And they actually call these chicken fingers, although I think that's a misuse because they sometimes cut up the chicken breast for chicken fingers as well. So you can take those out pretty easy. So let me show you again how I took the bone out of the breast. And let's cut, this is the part where the wishbone is. And then where the rib cage is, put your point of the knife and then just scrape straight. The knife blade should be hitting the bone, not the flesh. You hear that, right? And that's so important to feel it. And there, that goes into our stock pot as well. Now, let me show you on the chicken breast. You see where that little part is right in here? That's where the heart was. Sometimes you'll see that in there. If they don't properly bleed the chicken all the way, you may see a little bit of red in there. My advice to you is to cut it out, because even though you cook the chicken till it's well done, that will still be red. And sometimes people, when they see that, they get a little squeamish. Cut it out, put it in the stock pot, and we're good on that one as well. Take out our tenderloin, or better known now as chicken fingers, and we have that on a board. Now, some people like skinless chicken, so if you prefer the skin off, you can just peel it off. But let me tell you, if you're going to make a chicken stock, don't throw away the skin or the bones, because that really is where the flavor is. Keep that in mind. So here's a boneless, skinless breast of chicken. We'll just trim it up a little bit. A little of the connecting tissues is still on there. And then right through here as well. So I'm going to leave the skin on this particular piece, but I am going to trim off where it was connected to the backbone. And put that in my stock pot. Now I know you may think that, hey, this is a lot of work. Wouldn't it be easier just to buy it all cut up? But what I like to do is when I do this, I use it for many different recipes, so I can just put it in a Ziploc bag and freeze it. And I've got chicken breast when I need a chicken breast recipe. Literally, you can get 4 meals out of this 5-pound breast of chicken, okay? 4 meals. You can get chicken cacciatore. You can cut this chicken breast in half and then cut it in half again and fold it with some ham and cheese, and you got chicken cordon bleu. So many other wonderful recipes that you definitely want to subscribe to our channel, because I'm going to share every one with you. And so that's one thing. Now, let's get back to our chicken wings. So, typically, this is what the tip chicken wing looks like, but I'm going to separate it because sometimes people like to eat the drumstick part, and sometimes I like to eat the flats, but nobody ever eats the tips, right? So, what we're going to do with this, I'm going to cut the tips. See where that V is? Put your knife right there and just push down, and you cut off the tip. That goes in the stock pot. See this V right here? There's a V. Put your knife, let the knife do the cutting. And now we have a flat, and we have the drumstick. Get the tips off. Hit right there at the V. And we have that. Now, another thing I'd like to show you, although I guarantee you restaurants do not do it. Do you see where that tendon is in here? So what I like to do, if you don't want that tendon, it's hard to eat, but you just put your knife down here and then just hold it and do like that. See, there's the tendon, it's out. So if you want to remove it, fine. Most people don't. I guarantee you no restaurants do. But if this is something that you'd like, I just want to give you that little tip, because I've often get asked by people how to get it out, and it's so easy. You can bread these, fry them, however you like. Well, now, one more thing. Look at this thigh right here. This has a little excess skin. I'm going to trim it so when it cooks up much nicer. I don't have a lot of fatty pieces there. That could be your call. Trust me, when you deep fry it, it tastes so good. So you don't want to leave any of that out at all. And also another thing, when I got my thighs here, sometimes people say, well, how do I get the bone out of the thigh? I just like boneless thigh. Okay, see the bone here? Just take your knife and just move a little bit of the flesh from the bone by holding this big part here. Just get it around and around like that. Just scrape it off. And then a little bit where connecting tissue's in there, we'll cut around that. Put that in the stock pot. So now we have a boneless thigh. Well, we did it. We cut up the chicken, and with how many pieces we got? 1, 2, or we could have 2, 4, right? And then 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pieces, not counting the chef's portion. So, we have many more videos coming up. We're going to take these great pieces, we're going to turn it into some wonderful dishes. We have one that we're going to do with sage. You're going to love it. Oh, basil. So many good things. We're going to make a tagine with these nice Moroccan dish. So, subscribe. You got to do that. Also, let us know about the comments. Tell us how you feel. Tell us what you want to know. Okay? Like us. We'd love to do that. And also, if you like the recipe, it's in the comments. Right below, the description is right down there. Just go right to the description. And remember this about all of Chef Donald McMillan's recipes. They are simple and quite delicious.